Welcome back to Mr. Dodd's walk through pre-calculus. Right now we are going to be talking about graphing, just a ton of different things, all circling around the idea of graphing. So not a ton of background information this time, so I'm going to jump right into that. This should be a pretty short video, and then I will get into graphing itself. So first one, background skill number one, simplifying with exponents. Exponents represent repeated multiplication. Biggest thing I wanted to point out here is the difference between even exponents like squared, odd exponents like something to the first power, and then values without x as we plug in a negative value. So f of -2 equals -2, but make sure that's inside a set of parentheses, so it's the -2 quantity squared plus 3 times -2 minus 4. So with that, I just mostly want to focus on the sign, and then I'll combine all the numbers at the end. But when I square a -2, that's -2 times -2, which is a positive 4, and then 3 times -2 is a -6, and then a -4. So notice this odd exponent, x to the first power, went from having a plus in front of that middle term to having a minus. But the x squared term, the even exponent, and then this 4 is technically x to the 0. If we look at those did not change signs. The 4 was positive, the x squared was positive, the -4 was negative, and those stayed the same. So that's mostly what I want you guys to realize from this. Next piece, same thing, f of -2 equals -2 quantity cubed minus 5 times -2. Notice these are both odd, so we can probably predict that both terms are going to change their sign. So -2 to the third is -8. Started with a positive x cubed, now it's negative. Minus 5x, -5 times -2 is plus 10. So that's going to be a positive. Both of them change signs. So essentially, whenever I plug in a negative, the odd numbered exponents are going to change signs. The even numbered exponents are not going to change signs. Okay. This one would end up being -6, and this one would be end up being positive 2. The other thing that we will use, I know I've used this as a background skill before, but interval notation is going to continue to be important. So just as a reminder, brackets mean we want to include. So I would say -2 with a bracket, comma, 5 with a parenthesis, because that's not included. If we have divergent intervals on interval notation, we would say -infinity, because that's where that arrow is going, comma 0. We can never include infinity or -infinity because you haven't counted there. Nobody's counted there, so we can't actually include it. And then the 4 is in a bracket because it has a solid dot. Again, the infinity has a parenthesis because you cannot include infinity. So those are the only two background skills that I could think of for this. And then I'll present a bunch of new information once we get to that spot. Hopefully that was helpful and gets you ready to successfully complete the graphing unit.